Alrighty, it is day 3 of the NBA season. 2 games on the docket. I did get to go in and watch a little bit of tape on both of those games. We got a finals rematch of the Thunder and the Pacers, another double overtime classic for the Thunder. Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace sat this game out. Caruso suffered a concussion in the last game, and Cason Wallace sprained his knee. So I'm not sure. They'll probably both be out for a week. So OKC a little short-handed in their backcourt. So they relied heavily on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a career-high 55 points for the MVP. 55, 8 and 5, 15 of 31 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, 23 of 26 from the free throw line. I didn't look up if that's his career high for free throws attempted. It's possibly not, but it seems like it should be. 2 steals, 1 block, and only 2 turnovers in 45 minutes. He's looking like he might repeat his MVP at the rate that the Thunder are going. Certainly the darlings of national TV games so far. Double overtime in both games to start the season. Aaron Wiggins was the secondary scorer in this one. He got the start with Cason Wallace out. He had 23 points. Chet Holmgren had a solid game. And then A.J. Mitchell, he had 26 points off the bench in this one. I mentioned before that in the first game when he had 16 points, keep an eye on him. We're definitely going to have to get his overall rating up. I'm going to try to get that done over the weekend. But he had 26 points, played 38 minutes in this one. Obviously, as I mentioned before, they were very short-handed. So the absence of Alex Caruso, who, let me deactivate him real quick, is what led to him playing so many minutes. Aside from that, for the Pacers, it was a career night for Benedict Mathurin. He went toe-to-toe with SGA, had 36 points, 11 rebounds, 9 of 19 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 15 of 17 from the free throw line. He was going back and forth with SGA throughout this game. Let me just finish up over here, and we'll head over to the Pacers. I also realized from the substitution patterns that Mathurin's actually... I had counterintuitively switched Mathurin to the shooting guard because he did play... He split his minutes there last year, but based on like the way that the sub patterns were going, anytime Nesmith left the game, Ben Shepherd was mostly being the one checking in. So I did actually swap their positions. Nesmith ended up fouling out in this game in regulation. So Mathurin did end up... That's more or less when he started like going toe-to-toe with SGA is when he switched over to playing the two guard. Andrew Nembhard left this game early. He, with a shoulder injury, had only 4 points. 0 for 5 from the field in 17 minutes. Hopefully he doesn't have to miss much time because Indiana is extremely short-handed. Essentially the backup point guard in this game was Talon Peter, who played. He scored 3 points, played 17 minutes. He's really not a two guard at all. Really just like a defensive specialist. And then Isaiah Jackson was a non-factor in this one. 0 points, 4 fouls in 8 minutes. So Obi Toppin got a ton of run in this game. 20 points, 40 minutes for him. 8 of 18 from the field. 0 for 8 from 3. So he's more athletic than Miles Turner, but he really failed to bring the stretch element in this one. Also had 0 blocks in those 40 minutes, so didn't really do a good job of protecting the rim. Obviously, given the lacking interior players for Indiana and also the lack of guards, especially once Nembhard went down, it's not hard to see why SGA went for a career-high 55 in this one. I guess also should be noted that Ben Shepherd had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, played 39 minutes. He saw a little bit of time at backup point guard as well. With Nembhard out, he was basically the major beneficiary of Nembhard's injury, minutes-wise. And then Pascal Siakam basically had to put the team on his back. Uh, Aside from Mathurin, he had 32 points, 15 rebounds, 12 of 25 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, but only 5 of 12 from the free throw line. Free throws surely were very costly in a double overtime game. Probably, I don't know when the free throws exactly occurred, but probably could have prevented the game from leaving regulation if he hit just a few more than like 40% of them. Let's head on over to the Warriors, who beat the Nuggets in Denver's season debut. Another overtime game. So the games have been really high quality thus far in the NBA season. 137, 131. Curry took over, basically outscored the Nuggets down the stretch by himself. He ended the game with 42 points, 7 assists, only 2 turnovers, 14 to 25 from the field, 6 of 12 from 3. Best shooter in the NBA, not going anywhere. He doesn't rely on his athleticism or anything. So as long as he stays healthy, looking like it might be another All-NBA season for him. Jimmy Butler was solid as the secondary star in this one. 21 points, 6 assists, 3 steals. He hit a three or two, so might have to bump up his 3-point rating. Jonathan Kuminga was also solid in this one. 14 points, 3 assists. Had a key defensive play late that he. It was a high IQ play that he probably wouldn't have made in other seasons, where basically Jokic had created a mismatch with us in pick and roll, so he was able to get Steph Curry on him, but Kuminga like anticipated it and switched over himself, and then the play kind of broke down in like that last minute of the overtime. Al Horford also solid, 13 points, 3 threes, 29 minutes in this one. He's on a little bit of a minutes restriction. That's also why he's not going to be starting this year. Won't be playing back-to-backs, etc. But he was really effective in this one, and certainly against Jokic. Like, they're both unathletic, like, bangers. So Horford defended him pretty well when he was in the game. And he was in the he played at the 5 in the overtime with Draymond at the 4. Heading over to Denver, 50 points, career high for Aaron Gordon. 17 to 21 from the field, 10 for 11 from 3-point range, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Obviously the best game of his career. His previous highs were 41 points and 7 threes, so he blew those out of the water tonight. And when I was watching the tape on him, I had an epiphany, and I had to like go through the box score just to see like when guys were subbing in and whatnot. He's the backup point guard on this team. The whole preseason and offseason, I was like anticipating, oh, it's going to be like Bruce Brown because they signed him and they didn't re-sign Westbrook. No, they basically filled it internally. And that actually explains how he got, how he hit 10 threes and took 11 in this game. Is he's actually the guy at the top, orchestrating in any time that like Jamal Murray's out. We actually saw this from Aaron Gordon earlier, much earlier in his career with the Orlando Magic. He was like he was a lot worse back then at doing it. He's a much more polished player now, primarily because he's actually a good 3-point shooter. So the defense can't just like sag off of him. And he's a much smarter passer, of course. He spent like the last half decade playing next to Jokic, so he's picked up quite a bit of tricks during that time as well. And I think it's actually a little appropriate. You know, he is 30 years old. He dealt with some injuries last year, so his finishing at the rim, his defense, interior wise, wasn't as good as it typically had been. So yeah, that the huge development. Of course, the 2K ratings that they have for him are actual absolute garbage. He has like a 62 ball handle rating. His speed is pretty low. His pass ratings are actually surprisingly pretty bad. Like he's got like a 60 pass IQ, 60 pass accuracy. Like they completely forgot that he was actually. I mean, he's been a pretty good passer with Denver. Like he's been underrated for a few years in this, but yeah, he definitely needed an overhaul. And of course, as with Cooper Flagg, who I changed his position to point guard as he's currently starting. You do need to switch over Gordon's play initiator over to a yes, given that he's going to be the backup point guard in some of these units. Because when Jamal Murray, he was the first player to sub out, and then he's going to sub back in, and he's essentially the second unit point guard, but because he'll typically always like sub out, be the first sub, and then check back in to like end a quarter or something. But when he subbed out, Tim Hardaway Jr. was the one that subbed in, and I was like, wait a minute, like I was expecting Bruce Brown, who I ended up he checked in for Cam Johnson, so I switched him back to like he's more or less like a natural 3, so I switched Tim Hardaway Jr. back to the 2 because I was like looking at this like, wait, Tim Hardaway at the checking in for Murray, like I know his father was a point guard, and he's like considered like a decent passer, but he's not like running the offense or anything. And then I watched some of the Aaron Gordon highlights, and he's the one handling the ball, bringing it up, and like driving off, like operating in pick and roll with Jokic, which is similar to like what we saw from the Rockets, where Şengün and KD were operating in the pick and roll with each other, and Şengün and Adams were doing pick and rolls as well. So, yeah, I'm like fascinated by this. And Aaron Gordon was pretty good in this game. Jamal Murray, of course, he was, and Jokic. Murray had 25 points, 10 assists. Jokic had a triple double, but he struggled with his shot. He had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. Was only 8 of 23 from the field, 2 for 13 from 3. I felt like at the end of the game he was a little gassed, was settling a little bit. So a lot of and plus they were down, so they needed like some Hail Marys a little bit. But I would have liked to see him maybe get to work a little more. But again, it also was an overtime game. Cam Johnson, he was quiet in his debut, 5 points, only 2 of 8 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. So yeah, those were our 2 games. A little bit of news cleanup. Actually not sure if I waived him or not, so let's check it out. No, okay. Jaden Springer lasted 3 days on a regular season roster. He got waived by the Pelicans, so they are back down to a 14-man roster. We're just going to save them a decent amount of luxury tax. Not sure why he even made the roster to begin with. If he was just going to be cut after 3 days, maybe they were just doing him and his agent a favor. And I have to send. I forgot to save my changes in the last video, so I'm going to send Spencer Dinwiddie back to Siberia, but then also, not the G League, Siberia. One of these, and then Jared Butler, who was cut from the Phoenix Suns at the end of preseason. He also signed overseas today, so he was one of the top free agent point guards on the market, but he's going to take some guaranteed money in Europe. Yeah, it looks like it's campaign now as our marquee free agent. Getting pretty close to where, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to do it here. It's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to remove the injury and then send him off. But Malik Beasley's probably never playing in the NBA again at the current rate. I don't know if you saw the news earlier that Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups were both arrested. Rozier had to put up his mansion as his $6 million mansion as like collateral to pay for his bail. Not looking great for the sports betting dudes. But actually, let's head on over to Siberia, to the European teams. As I don't think I mentioned it in my last video, but this is essentially where I'm sending off all of the retired players, all the guys that sign overseas. I'm sending them off over here rather than deleting them, just in case like one of these random guys comes back, because it happens like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and if I've deleted them, I have to like re-download them. But also, anytime you delete a player from the 2K roster, it actually causes like instability within the roster. Created players will have like their names reset, things like that. So rather than delete these players, I just wanted to send them off into like their little corner of the universe where it doesn't really matter. And of course, I didn't walk, I ran to delete all of the European players that were in the roster. Because like their ratings are fucking absurdly high for some reason and have like where's their badge? Like they have Hall of Fame badges, and these are all like generic players. None of these guys like are meant to like resemble anyone that plays overseas. They're literally just filler players, and it was very annoying to me. I'm gonna save and show you why. I thought it was just terrible design and implementation to have all these guys. I'll upload in a little bit after this one. All right, so let's hop into the default roster real quick. And we're going to go to all players. So if I just want to look at the list of badges. Let's see what everybody has. Let's go ankle breaker. Who the fuck is Ali Deniz Guven? This was my first like, you know, for the fact that these guys are populating on the quote unquote all players list. I've got Kyrie, Iverson, another version of Kyrie, and then this random motherfucker. I was like, is this meant to be? I like started googling EuroLeague players, and no, it's just because they fucking randomized it. So I deleted all of them so that they won't show up on the all players list, which I think makes sense to me. I don't know why they designed it this way. I don't think like the I don't know if the G League players are on that list. I don't think the all-time players are. I think it's only just the like retro players and the current teams. So that's ultimately why I did that. And since we only had 2 games, I'm just going over, you know, it's a little bit of cleanup for me. There's 12 games on the docket tomorrow again, so I'm not really going to be able to get to focus in too much. And, like, the first week of this season is always tough because you'll have, like, these 2 games where you get to really focus in, and then the next day it's like everybody's playing, so you really don't get to focus on anybody at all. And then the next day it's, you know, today where we only had two games. We get to dive a little deeper, and then tomorrow is the same shit. Everybody's playing again, and it's not going to fix itself until like the second week of the NBA season. But I did go back and watch some tape on VJ Edgecombe and on his his historic performance where he was the first rookie since Wilt Chamberlain to score 34 points in their debut. Since 1959, that record, nobody's done that. So watching the tape of VJ, it was who I did update his ratings. As you can see, I've got him at an 80 overall. Despite that Wilt comp, it's a reminder that Terrence Mann once dropped 39 points in a playoff game. Like watching the tape, the 34 was not that impressive. He was 3 for 3 on layups, 3 for 3 on dunks, and then 7 of 20 on jumpers, which is only 35%. And he was assisted on 6 of those 7. So he was left completely wide open on most of those threes. He was 6 for 6, driving to the basket. He blew by Boston's defenders just based on his sheer athleticism on like straight line drives. Probably didn't help that Boston's defenders aren't the greatest, and they also have no rim protection. So that was definitely a factor. But overall, he looked more like Derek White every now and then has a big game, and I think Derek White is a pretty reasonable comp for Edgecombe. Like at least younger Derek White. Current Derek White is a much better shooter. And I think that even though Edgecombe was 5 of 13 from 3 in this one, he was left open a lot of the time. He probably won't be left open now that people know that he can at least knock him down a little bit. He was also 1 of 4 on mid-range shots in this one. yeah, and his shot wasn't great in college. It's one of those games where, he hit 5 threes. Don't read too much into it. It's just as likely that he goes like 2 for 13 in the next game. So I didn't really touch his 3 point rating very much. I took him from a 77 to an 80. But really, the main changes that I wanted to highlight were some of his badges. So on those drives, and I believe at default he only has like 3 badges, so I added 6. But the main ones to focus on are Aerial Wizard. I gave him a bronze. He had an impressive high difficulty alley. I would be impressed, or like surprised rather, if this wasn't a silver after like a couple more games, or certainly the end of the year once we get a larger sample. As it seems like he is definitely one of the more athletic players in the league, and is going to be a major lob threat, I think, most of the year. Certainly the biggest lob threat on the Sixers. I did add the set shot specialist to him just because, again, he took 15 threes in his debut, which was a league high for the first day of the year. And I think he's going to knock them down at a reasonable enough clip. Lightning launch, explosive when driving to the basket. He certainly was in this game. So I think that's probably going to hold. Some of the other ones, like I think added off-ball pest, his defensive stuff. He didn't have any steals in the last game, or maybe only one in however many minutes, but he was. This is more based on his college performance, and we'll see if I need to rectify that. I did boost his posterizer up 1 point, as I do anticipate he's going to catch some bodies this year. And then 2K's got these two on him by default as well. So that's what I've got for VJ Edgecombe after that first game. And then I went along and I looked at Embiid. I did update him for, rather, I updated his ratings relative to his performance from last year. Some key changes that you need to make for Embiid. 2K never updates players' athleticism ratings. Embiid has gone through so many injuries, and it's like really showing in his physicality. They actually did update his durability rating to a 50, which is, how do I even get there? No, don't save. They updated this to a 50. This is the first time in like pre-pandemic that they've updated a player's durability rating. I'm serious. I track all of the rating changes that they make every year, so I know the history of this company for the last like 20 something years of all the rating changes that they have for each attribute. They haven't updated a durability rating in 7 years, so that's a good sign in itself. They are somewhat paying attention, but they haven't touched his athleticism ratings at all. They haven't even touched his ball handle rating. He's been a 57 ball handle for the last like decade. Meanwhile, he's getting like 6 isolation plays a game. He's taking big men off the dribble. He does a little bit in pick and roll, at least in past years. I think he's going to be doing significantly less of that this coming year. So that is a rating that I have my eye on. This might go down to like a 70 or a 65. He's still going to be pretty good, and is good enough to draw fouls on other big men. But yeah, that's something they do a pretty bad job at. They of course have his rebound ratings a little. His offensive rebound rating is 10 points higher than it should be based on scale. They have him at like a 69 speed, 69 agility, 60 something vertical. I dropped this down to 40 because he can barely jump anymore. They did drop his stamina rating to a 79. I always round on stamina ratings, so I've got him at an 80. He is on a minutes restriction, so I do think that this is an important rating change for him. Worth noting, I've got his intangibles at 90, as I don't anticipate. 90 is where I have like all NBA and all-star level of players, and 99 is where I have like league MVPs, and obviously certain players who you need to break the scale for on this, where the position formula doesn't rate them the way that they should. Like, for example, Edgecombe, I just maxed out because you just need to get his rating higher. But Embiid, I dropped from a 99 to a 90. I think he's trending downward. Might drop him down to an 80 if he the performance that he had last game, 4 points on 1 and 9 shooting. If he keeps doing things like that, we're gonna have to send him to the shadow realm. I did drop his help defense rating by 5 points. Really all of his defensive ratings, I dropped down. The 2K has him at a 65 perimeter defense. This might even drop down lower. I don't think his perimeter defense is all that good. I did drop his offensive consistency by like 10 points. What else? I think the rest is fine, and then we have to keep an eye on this. Obviously, he did not play particularly well in that last game, but it's only one game. He looked a lot better in his like preseason debut. We'll see. Oh, I've dropped his dunk rating. Like his dunk ratings are absurd. They have him as like an 85 driving dunk. Like again, they have all of these ratings rated like he's in his MVP prime. He's just not that level of player anymore, because the athleticism that he had back then is just like not there anymore and is not coming back. You know, as a 40 something. I'm 42, guys. In case you didn't know, I feel it in my knee, man, and it's not getting better. Every day is just like a little, you know, microscopically worse. So, and I don't even play NBA basketball, so I can only imagine what Embiid's needs feel like. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow with that huge slate of games. Let's see if there's anything crazy. We've got Minnie and Minnesota and the Lakers, so Ant versus Luka. We've got the Warriors on a back-to-back, so I guess Horford's going to be out for that. Playing against the Blazers. We're going to get our first look at the Blazers with Thiago Splitter as the head coach. I guess it's probably, you know what? Before we go anywhere, let's hop out of the roster, and we're gonna see how fast 2K is with this. Did they did they add Splitter yet? Probably not. It's probably way too soon. I don't think 24 hours have passed since that news broke. No, don't upload the roster. Let's just check. Let's just check. Oh God! All right. Yes, quit. View roster. Oh, you can't even get there from view. This is like the worst, like 2 minutes of my YouTube career right now. Create roster. Oh my God. No, still the coach. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes for them to fix that. We've got Zion versus Wemby. Suns versus the Clippers. So Bradley Beal playing against Phoenix. Knicks Celtics is always fun. Hawks Magic. Bucks Raptors. Okay. Rockets Pistons. We've got some decent games. Check them out tomorrow. Peace.